Tiphaine Véron was born on July 22, 1982, in Rennes, France, and grew up in Poitiers from the age of 2. She studied art history at university and also learned Russian and Japanese. In her early adult years, she was diagnosed with epilepsy, but after years of treatment, her condition came under control, allowing her to lead a normal, active life. By 2018, Tiphaine was working in Poitiers as a school assistant, helping children with disabilities. That summer, she decided to take a 3-week solo trip to Japan. Her plan was carefully organized and written out in detailed notes. She arrived at Narita International Airport in Chiba Prefecture on July 27, 2018. After spending her first night in Tokyo, she headed to Nikko, a historic mountain city in Tochigi Prefecture about 2 hours north of Tokyo. Nikko is famous for its rich cultural and spiritual landmarks, especially the Toshogu Shrine, a stunning site dedicated to Tokugawa Ieyasu, founder of the Tokugawa shogunate. The shrine complex includes the Grand Yomeimon Gate, the main sanctuary surrounded by towering cedar trees, and Ieyasu's mausoleum. On July 28th, Tiphaine checked into the Turtle Inn in Nikko, arriving between 4 and 4:30 p.m., as confirmed by security cameras. She shared photos via WhatsApp after checking in. With a typhoon approaching that evening, she decided to stay indoors. The next morning, July 29th, she was seen having breakfast at the inn between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. A fellow guest even took a photo of her at 8:41 a.m. According to the hotel manager, she left the inn around 9:53 a.m. carrying a shoulder bag. However, phone signals suggested her device was still in her room afterward, creating confusion about her actual movements. When she did not return, staff became concerned. On the morning of July 30th, around 10:30 a.m., hotel staff entered her room and found her belongings untouched, including her passport. Authorities were immediately contacted, and her unexplained disappearance was reported. On August 1, 2018, the French embassy in Japan officially notified Tiphaine Véron's family of her disappearance. Less than a week later, on August 6th, her sister and 2 brothers traveled to Japan to help with the search alongside local authorities. Her mother, Anne Dare, appealed directly to French President Emmanuel Macron, asking for stronger support and more investigative resources. As weeks went by without progress, her sister Sibylle made a public plea on September 9th. She asked tourists who had visited Nikko at the time of Tiphaine's disappearance to share any photos they had taken, hoping small details in the background might provide new leads. On October 17, during a state visit to France by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, Sibylle managed to personally speak with President Macron at the Élysée Palace, once again urging action. On November 10, 2018, around 500 people gathered in Poitiers for a solidarity march calling for more transparency and continued investigation. Months later, between May 7 and May 17, 2019, Japanese mountain rescue specialists carried out another large-scale search, but no new information was uncovered. The family returned to Japan in late July 2019 to mark the first anniversary of her disappearance, holding a demonstration in Nikko. By this time, after a year of fruitless searches, they publicly rejected the idea that Tiphaine's disappearance was an accident. They raised concerns about the investigation itself, pointing out gaps in the case file given to French authorities and inconsistencies in hotel staff statements about her last known movements. They also reviewed her Google Maps data, which tracked her location until 11:40 a.m. on July 29th, when her Wi-Fi signal suddenly disappeared. In early August 2019, her brother Damien organized another search near the Turtle Inn, joined by 5 volunteers and 7 trained dogs. Unfortunately, this effort also ended without results. The family continued sharing missing person alerts, noting Tiphaine's details: 165 cm tall, green eyes, light brown hair, and a medical history of epilepsy, though her condition was well managed with medication. Some media speculated she might have suffered a seizure, but there were no hospital records or eyewitness reports to support this. In fact, she was reportedly cheerful and in good health on the morning she vanished. Early theories suggested she may have had an accident, perhaps falling into a river or getting lost in Nikko's steep and heavily forested terrain. Japanese authorities initially leaned toward this explanation, though the family remained unconvinced. During search efforts, a scarf was discovered near a river, but Tiphaine's family dismissed it as unrelated. They pointed out that there had been no flooding and that she never wore scarves. The fact that her passport and other belongings were still in her hotel room also raised serious doubts about the idea of an accidental disappearance. A more troubling possibility is foul play. In the months after she vanished, Nikko and the wider Tochigi Prefecture experienced a string of violent incidents. In August 2018, a human skull was found near railway tracks. Weeks later, 2 women were fatally attacked in a parking lot. Between late 2018 and early 2022, more human remains, including bones and dismembered bodies, were recovered from rivers and forests in the area. According to the family's private investigator, at least 15 bodies were discovered and 33 sexual assaults were reported locally during this period. One lead focused on reports of a man pretending to be a tour guide near the Takinu Jinja Shrine, a site Tiphaine had planned to visit. In 2019, warnings were posted about this individual after claims that he had made unwanted physical contact with visitors. Several Japanese women later shared similar experiences online. Police admitted they were aware of him, but said he had not been seen since January 2018. This fake guide theory remains plausible and could explain both the sudden end of Tiphaine's phone activity and the absence of clear clues. Suspicion has also surrounded the hotel manager, who was the last confirmed person to see her. His accounts of her departure time have been inconsistent. Reports also suggested that luminol testing revealed possible bloodstains in her room, but official forensic results have never been released. No suspects have been charged, no ransom was demanded, but the possibility of criminal involvement remains under serious consideration. Those close to Tiphaine strongly reject the idea that she chose to disappear or ended her own life. She had carefully planned her trip, stayed in close touch with her family, and left behind all her personal items. She was deeply passionate about Japanese culture, had booked a return flight, and was excited about her travels. To strengthen their search, the family enlisted private investigator Jean-François Abgral, well known for helping capture a notorious French serial killer. In December 2022, her brother Damien returned to Japan, meeting with police and comparing her disappearance to other unsolved cases in the region. Her family also created an organization, Unis pour Tiphaine, United for Tiphaine, to support ongoing efforts. French entrepreneur Xavier Niel provided technical assistance, revealing that her phone had not been turned off normally but had, instead, been abruptly shut down, possibly through physical damage or forced battery removal. A Japanese ally, Kazunari Watanabe, has also joined the cause, personally traveling to Nikko more than 40 times to help. The family continues to hold out hope that Tiphaine may still be alive, possibly being held against her will. Their commitment to uncovering the truth has never wavered. Damien Veron, her older brother, has been particularly vocal. He has called for stronger international cooperation between Japan, France, and even the United Nations. In public statements, he has expressed a deep desire to let his sister know he will never stop searching. In October 2023, Damien joined French residents in Japan, members of parliament, and Nikko police officers for a public awareness campaign. They handed out cards with a QR code linking to a website about her case and carried signs reading "Don't Forget Tiphaine" through Nikko's popular tourist spots, including Shinkyo Bridge. In early 2024, French lawyer Corinne Herman and Judge Sabine Caris, both experts in cold cases, prepared a visit to Nikko to push the investigation further. On January 22, 2024, the Veron family received notice that the United Nations Human Rights Committee had formally urged Japan to reopen the case and restart investigative efforts. On July 29, 2024, exactly 6 years after Tiphaine's disappearance, Damien made a renewed global appeal for witnesses. He asked anyone who had been in Nikko on July 29, 2018, to review their photos and share them in case they contained valuable details. Anyone with information about Tiphaine's disappearance is asked to contact the Nikko police station at 0288 53 11 Unsao.